Hi, I'm Johnny John. Welcome to the Journey of the Soul series. In the past, I have talked about the ways to transform the suffering states of the mind to create greater happiness in life. And this was taught without any talks about the spiritual side of things, so that one can focus on the practice rather than the story. But this time, these techniques will be taught with a spiritual backdrop so that one can understand the bigger picture of knowing where they are in terms of spiritual evolution. So talks about reincarnation, about the soul, about spiritual planning will be introduced. Again, I will be guiding you to your own conclusions. I am not of a religious background, so it's not my goal to change your beliefs. It's simply my goal to give you another way of looking at things so that you can see life in another light. In this video, we will be talking about the purpose of life in a deeper sense. To understand the purpose of life through the Creator's intent. To understand deeper about the blueprint of creation. So let us begin. Today, let's talk about the purpose of life. It's important to know our purpose in life because it's by knowing it that we can have a direction towards greater happiness and fulfillment. On my journey of self-discovery, I realized that although we may all seem to go in different paths, we actually all share the same universal destination. So today I want to talk about that destination, to talk about the purpose of life in a deeper sense, not about what jobs we can do, what kind of people we should be with. These are just the choices we can make in life. Today I want to talk about the purpose of life in a deeper sense from the spiritual perspective, to talk about the clues as to why we were created to experience the reality that we're experiencing now, so that you may find the clues to the blueprint of creation. To find our destination as divinely intended. Before I begin, I just want to let you know that my goal is not for you to believe in whatever I say, but rather for you to use my experiences as clues to help you find your own truth, your own path. So let's begin. I want to begin by reading something that I have written, which I think is quite helpful to open the mind. Through studying creation, one can learn about the Creator. As creation will always reflect the nature of the Creator. Like studying a piece of music, the intention of the composer can be heard. And like studying a piece of rock, the nature of the mountain is known. Thus, if we wish to learn about the Creator, we can study the nature of our minds. I hope that you have enjoyed that romantic poetry from me. So basically, that's my approach to understanding the mysteries of the universe, to know the Creator through studying its creations. For instance, we can study why is it that our minds are designed in such a way that it is right now, with its abilities to perceive emotions, to think, to experience. It is by studying the nature of these inner mechanisms that can bring us closer to see the Creator's intentions in its designs. So let us study the mechanisms of the mind that we have at the moment to find the clues for that blueprint of creation. And we can do this first by asking ourselves the question, what do we desire in life? We will no doubt reach the same answer, which is for the experience of happiness, of greater happiness. This is the same question as, what are we designed to desire for in life? And that's for greater happiness. The blueprint for creation seems hidden, but it was always there inside all along. That is why the desire for happiness resonates deep within the mind, body, and spirit. But some of us may overlook it because it's so obvious that we can end up overthinking the answer. So we all have the answers inside. So there are many answers to the mysteries of the universe that can be discovered from within, if we look inwards and tune into our feelings and intuition. So now realize that greater happiness is the destination, and realign your path and choices in life to reach there. Not to live towards what others expect of you, but towards what makes you happy, for you are the creator of your life. That is how you reach greater fulfillment. But we have just brushed upon the surface and picked at a little bit of that blueprint of creation. To reveal more of it, one would have to explore the question of what is happiness. So let's talk about what is happiness. If we study what happiness is, we can find many types of happiness: temporary happiness, excitement, addiction, and so forth. The seeker who wishes to know more about the blueprint of creation will thus have to explore what happiness is, to see how it's created, how it can be achieved, and the purpose of the design. So let us look at what happiness is. To study happiness, we can study what happiness is not, which is unhappiness. We then can explore that whole spectrum of that state of mind which is unhappiness, and this will include all the negative states of the mind, emotions, and body, such as anger, impatience, fears, discomfort, and the list goes on. We can then ask ourselves, what is the cause for these negative states of the mind? What we will discover is that whenever we are in a negative state of mind, we are in a state of self-rejection. For instance, anger is a state of rejection towards others or ourselves. Fear is a state of rejection towards a situation or possibility of an outcome. Impatience is the rejection of the present moment, and so forth. Basically, unhappiness is the state of self-rejection. And from that state of rejection will come many different forms of unhappiness. So to know what the experience of happiness really is, we can simply look at the opposite of the state of rejection. And that is the state of acceptance. That's it. Happiness is the state of acceptance. When we are in the state of acceptance, we are in the state of happiness. And in that spectrum of happiness, we will find the states of compassion, love, courage, wisdom, and so forth. Now let us ask the question, how can we produce the state of self-acceptance? There are many ways to be happy. Whether it is buying nice clothes, new gadget, eating delicious food, watching an interesting movie. But realize that the state of happiness produced by external triggers will always be temporary, because the happiness created in such a way will only last for as long as the experience. So a more serious seeker would ask, how can I develop greater happiness which is beyond temporary happiness? How can I develop everlasting happiness? Happiness that comes naturally within. Happiness that does not require an external trigger for it to be experienced. And that will only leave us with one way, which is the journey of transforming the suffering states of the mind. For instance, to address our fears, anger, impatience, basically to transform the state of self-rejection into the state of self-acceptance. This is the bigger picture. This is the bigger work. The journey of becoming ever more self-knowing, ever more self-accepting. This is the soul journey, the journey of the soul. Now some people may be content and settle with temporary happiness. That's fine. But there may be people who wish for something more. So if what I said resonates with you, then that's great. Now that the destination is known, the more serious seeker within asks, what is the way to this destination? How do I transform unhappiness into happiness? Or more accurately, how do I transform the states of self-rejection into the states of self-acceptance? And the answer is through the spiritual lessons that we have brought into this lifetime, which I will talk about more in detail later. But first, we need to understand more about the soul journey so that we can better understand what spiritual lessons are. So let us direct our attention to the question: if the blueprint for creation is for us to reach for greater happiness, what is the purpose for this purpose? Why is it that our purpose is designed to transform the states of unhappiness to happiness, the states of rejection into acceptance? For what purpose does this achieve? It is by exploring the possible answers to this question that more clues to the blueprint of creation can be uncovered, which will help us to understand more about our journey here, the soul journey. I hope that this video has helped you to see life in another light, to see the light in life. The more we study about the nature of our minds, the more we are studying about the nature of the universe. And with time, we will be able to see through all the mysteries in which it contains. Don't be worried if you face confusions, because we're all on the journey of self-knowing, of knowing more about ourselves every day. In the next video, we will be talking about the spiritual journey. We will go deep into understanding what it really is and why it exists, so that we can understand more about the purpose of the soul. So I'll see you next time.